Hey, Shalom Akyam. First off, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Kodash. I want to send double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you, Akyam, out there, pushing the word of sincerity and truth. This is the brother Ariala. And what I just want to do is a quick update because it's been in the news, and I just wanted to kind of go over, you know, some of the issues that have been going on. Recently, what you had was a ceasefire that's been called for by the UN Security Council, the United States Security Council. So you got the beast system calling for a ceasefire in this city called Ghouta right here, which is, you know, just a little bit east of Damascus, a perfect launching point for the UN to enter into Damascus and fight in this area. And in what we see is a setup. It's an absolute setup, man, and it's not gonna do anything but lead to things getting hotter faster, man. And that's what you always gotta pay attention when Esau's doing these type of things. You gotta know that they're playing games, and they ain't nothing but games. So let's go back to Saturday. Right now, today is Monday. I want to read this real quick. Let me see if I can find this article that I had pulled up. Right, here it is. Middle East, it says, this is by the New York Times. Blocked by Russia, this is February 22nd. UN fails to pass Syria ceasefire resolution. It says, the United Nations Security Council, facing staunch opposition from Russia, failed to pass a resolution on Thursday. Okay, this is Thursday. That would have imposed a 30-day ceasefire in Syria to allow humanitarian aid to reach a besieged Damascus suburb. With new reports on Thursday of a rocket attack that took 42 lives, the death toll this week in the rebel-held suburb eastern Ghouta rose to more than 300. The suffering of civilians in Syria brings shame on all of us, Britain's representative Stephen Hickey said at the Security Council meeting. He described the condition in eastern Ghouta as a hell on earth. France's ambassador Francois Leterrier called reports of civilian deaths were unbearable and warned that inaction could become the grave of the United Nations. But Russia's ambassador Vasily A. Nimbazaya, whose veto is the lone obstacle to the resolution, dismissed the reports as disinformation and propaganda, because they understand what's going on in the background, man. When you look in this region, they need justification to be able to enter this area and take down the Assad regime by saying their aggression on Ghouta is killing civilians. We got to save the civilians. Meanwhile, the reason why they want to bring humanitarian aid in that area is so that they can restock the rebels that they've armed there and continue their proxy war that they got going on all in and all around Syria, man. Okay? Ain't got nothing to do with no civilians. The UN don't give a damn about no civilians, man. This is just a good political point to say, look what Assad is doing. He's a monster. We need to go in and take him down and stop all these killings. So Russia understands this, man. Now, fast forward, that makes me think of a few scriptures, but this is just one that I want to bring out. Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. The word of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that's what you see when you're reading this article. They're trying to make it seem like the UN, Great Britain, the U.S., France, they care about these civilians. And excuse the noise, I'm sitting out in the park right now, man, soaking up a few rays, But anyway, they want to make it seem like France, the Great Britain, and the U.S. are just coming to the aid of these civilians. No, they want to take down the Assad regime, man. So this is all propaganda, man. Okay. That's all we see. Now, let me see what I got. Boom. So this is today. when you go back to the New York Times, it says Syria ceasefire must take effect immediately. UN chief warns. Okay? It says people receiving medical treatment in Eastern Ghouta, Syria on Sunday. More than 500 people have died in the area in the past week, including 24 in the day since the ceasefire resolution was passed. All right? Says Geneva. A bomb continued to rain down on Damascus suburb of Eastern Ghouta on Monday. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres demanded that the Syria ceasefire resolution that the Security Council adopted unanimously over the weekend take effect immediately. So they had it. It got shot down by Russia on Thursday. Then Saturday they came back and pushed it on through. It says the Secretary General's anger was unmatched by that of his colleague Zaid Ra'ad al-Hussein, the United Nations top human rights official, who pinned responsibility for the prolonged misery in Syria and other conflict zones on the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. Security resolutions are only meaningful if they are effective, Mr. Guterres said at the opening of a session of the Human Rights Council in Geneva. Eastern Ghouta cannot wait. It's high time to stop this hell on earth. That's once again, they throwing out that hell on earth. The resolution approved on Saturday by the Security Council after days of haggling by permanent members called for a 30-day ceasefire in Syria, but it contained loopholes that allow intensive bombing and shelling of the beleaguered enclave to continue. More than 500 people have died in the rebel-held enclave of Eastern Ghouta in the past week, including 24 in the 24 hours since the ceasefire resolution was passed, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a monitoring group based in Britain. The hospitals remain a target. The sound of jets and helicopters could be heard flying over the capital in the direction of Eastern Ghouta on Monday. Okay? And basically, it's got the sentiment of, all the rubble and people damaged by the attacks because terrorists are in Assad's country and he's in there bombing the hell out of them like a president should, right? We'll skip down. It says President Bashar al-Assad of Syria and his Russian and Iranian allies appear to be exploiting the wording of the resolution, which did not set a firm date for the ceasefire to take effect, and excluded attacks on opposition forces identified as terrorists, who make up some of the estimated 580 opposition fighters entrenched in Eastern Ghouta. Efforts to combat terrorism do not supersede obligations under international law to protect civilians. Mr. Guterres pointedly reminded his audience, taking aim at Syria, Russia, and Iranian representatives who have stated their determination to keep up military action against terrorist groups. Okay? Mr. Guterres demanded that aid agencies be granted access to deliver humanitarian assistance to the nearly 400,000 people in Eastern Ghouta who have been besieged for years, and to evacuate hundreds of critically ill patients whose transfer to hospitals less than an hour's drive away has been resolutely blocked by the government because they're not allowing traffic to come in and out easily. Why? Because it's a war zone. And that's what's going to happen to all these other major cities once war reaches their borders, as these powers continue to collide and basically World War III escalates. What you're reading about in Ghouta is going to be coming to a city near you. All these key regions in and around major cities are going to be very high level targets for all these different nations to attack, man. Okay? So they pushing out all this propaganda, man. These people are at war, man. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Of course they're going to keep firing. They want to win. Now, oh yeah. But they play these games, man, and they make it seem like Assad, Russia, and Iran are just being absolutely ridiculous, when the state of Israel does the same thing, man. The state of Israel have a firecracker go off on one side of their border and they'll hit bomb school. They'll bomb schools, hospitals. They'll shell for days and days and days, man, off of a rumor, off of a rumor of an attack. So how hypocritical is it for the West to talk about a side? But that's the nature of the Game of Thrones. That's the nature of the theater of war. Propaganda is a big part of it. This is Psalms chapter 140, verse 2. Verse 1, it says, "Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adder's poison is under their lips. Selah." That's what we see, man. When you read these articles and you seeing how they coming together, but then we want to protect the civilians. They're gonna be in Gunta bombing the shit out of everybody in no time, man. They don't care about the civilians. When the U.S. and these other allies finally want to attack the Assad regime, they're not gonna care about civilians in Damascus. They just gonna be lighting that place up, man. Okay? They just gonna be lighting that place up. Okay? I'm gonna play this video for you, Icon, real quick.
60 Minutes has obtained horrifying video of the aftermath of the sarin gas attack on Syrian civilians last April. A warning: these images graphically
now, it came out that those gas attacks were false, but they still reporting it like it's real.
Show what happened in this chemical attack. An estimated 100 people died here, 200 others were injured. The video was not shown publicly until Scott Pelley's report last night.
These are the people of a small farming town called Khan Sheikhoun. They fell after a warplane dropped a bomb nearby. They're civilians. There's no military target here. But the village does lie in territory held by rebels fighting against the dictatorship of Bashar al-Assad.
There are reports of another...
we didn't show the video because we were too busy putting the video together, man. We were too busy editing it, you know?
Other chemical attack in Syria, this time in the rebel-held eastern Ghouta. New airstrikes hit the area this morning, even as the UN Security Council is urging a ceasefire there. Seth Jonas in Lebanon near the Syrian border with the latest on this story. Seth, good morning.
Good morning. We are close to the border with Syria. The eastern suburbs of the capital, Damascus, have been bombarded by forces loyal to the Syrian government as they try to regain control there, using some of the most aggressive assaults of this 7-year-long war. Young children, some of them infants, were treated at a hospital inside rebel-controlled Douma in eastern Ghouta. While the intensity of airstrikes has lessened, forces allied with the Syrian government continued bombing the Damascus suburb, despite a UN ceasefire brokered Saturday. "I was hit by shrapnel all over," this man said, "and my 9-year-old son was killed." The 30-day ceasefire did not specify a start time, apparently the result of lobbying by Syria's ally, Russia. It's estimated more than 500 people, including at least 130 children, have been killed since this latest assault began last week.
So, they're going to get all this sentiment from the American public to try to basically say we need to go to war in Syria. We need to take the Assad regime out. This is all because of them that this is happening. This is all because of the Assad regime that this is happening, man. So they setting it all up, getting it all ready to go, and, they putting it together, This is Proverbs chapter 26, verse 22. "The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked man are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not." And when you listen to this man, it killed 130 children. Over 250 people have died. It's so sad.
Pictures released over the weekend by Syrian activists show patients, including children, apparently suffering from symptoms consistent with a chlorine attack. The 16 patients.
You getting chlorine attacked every time you drink a bottle of Dasani water, man. You're getting attacked by all these chemicals every day here and around the West.
Were being treated by the Syrian American Medical Society, operating inside the rebel-held Damascus suburb. The Syrian government has always denied using chemical weapons, and their Russian allies have accused rebels.
You got these kids on camera crying. Kids are like, where the fuck am I at? Who are you people? God dang, man. But that's what he does right here. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart, whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Okay? And what's going to happen is they're going to draw everybody into this war, and then they're going to end up destroying themselves, man. World War III, when this thing is lit, you got Iran, you got Russia, Syria, and all their allies. Moab going to jump in. When this shit pop off, it's not going to go good for Great Britain, France, Germany. It's not going to go good for the United States, man. Okay? That's why verse 27 says, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. And that's what the West is trying to do when they push out these type of articles, man. They're just trying to prepare you for war that they're about to move into Syria. This is what's going down. They're pushing the propaganda out there at the highest rate ever. Okay? I was going to read this article, but, pretty much the point has gone out, man. It's just going to go in more on how their strikes continue on the city of Gunta. And so the situation is becoming a powder keg real quickly, man. We're going to see what's going to happen, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting these next couple of weeks, because now they have a platform to say we need to go into Damascus to stop this madness, because they'll do a strike on, Syrian missile launchers, whatever, Syrian target. There's going to be attacks on Syrian military positions, man. And they'll say, yo, we tried to go through peacefully, but they've continued to ignore these ceasefire agreements. This is what we're going to have to do. So, I just wanted to update brothers on that real quick update. Interesting things, more propaganda. We getting there, man. We're getting there, man. Once again, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutation to you, Akim, out there pushing his word in sincerity and truth. Prophecy.